So something a little bit unusual is going on in Turkey, and that's why I thought I quickly let you know about this. Is this volcanic? Is it tectonic? Or is this somewhat man-made because they have done geothermal drilling? So there's an earthquake swarm going on near Simav in Turkey, and approximately 70 earthquakes, over 70 earthquakes within only a few hours. And that's a little bit strange. Western Turkey, strongest quake had a magnitude of 3.2 and a depth of roughly 9 kilometers. Epicenter was roughly 10 miles northwest of Simav, a town with a population of around 35,000 people. We've seen earthquakes there, yes, in April, magnitude 4, basically also in the same area. But a swarm like this, so densely, one after the other, all together clustered, very, very interesting. I mean, we know the Mediterranean region is seismically active due to the northward convergence of the African plate with respect to the Eurasian plate along a complex plate boundary. And they're very afraid of large earthquakes in Turkey right now. And the highest rates in the Mediterranean, by the way, highest rates of seismicity in the Mediterranean region is found along the Hellenic subduction zone of southern Greece, along the North Anatolian fault zone of western Turkey, and the Calabrian subduction zone of southern Italy. And the problem is, in the Mediterranean region, large earthquakes throughout the Mediterranean region have also been known to produce significant and damaging tsunamis. And we're talking about magnitude 8, magnitude 7 something. That's what is possible in these areas. For example, a magnitude 7.2 in December of 1908, the Messina earthquake, is until today the most devastating documented European earthquakes. Because the combination of severe ground shaking and a local tsunami caused an estimated loss of people 60,000 to 120,000. And these days, there's way more people in these areas. So what is this cluster swarm? Do we need to worry about something? These quakes are not super high right now, so it's not a big deal in the press or anywhere else. But what I think is obvious that it's so many of them. It's really a cluster if you look at it on the map. And why are they interesting? Well, if you look at tectonics in the area in relation to the volcanoes. We are not talking too much about volcanoes and Turkey, aren't we? So Simav, the town of Simav, is known for its thermal springs. Where are they coming from? Warm water. Something needs to heat it up. So there's also evidence of volcanism dating way back in Earth's history. So that region lies within a rift, and it was just recently, it was in the spotlight. It was drawing attention when there was a magnitude 4.6 also in April 25th. And then that was followed by a strong swarm of aftershocks that lasted 4 days. So the current quakes are probably related somewhat to what was going on in April. So it could be tectonic, yes, or it could be related to the movement of magmatic fluids in the subsurface. But it could also be man-made, because there's a geothermal power plant in the region, only roughly 4 miles southeast of this earthquake zone. So maybe there's a correlation there. There's also thermal springs, thermal bath for tourists. But if you look at the depth of the current earthquakes, it doesn't really look like that they were man-made, that they were caused by water injection in the subsurface. It's not impossible, but it doesn't look that likely. And if we look at the tectonics, Simav is located in the southern part of the, how it's called, Simav fault zone. And the earthquakes occurred only a few kilometers away from the Simav fault zone. And this rift is part of a system consisting of similar rift zones associated with crustal extension in the Western Anatolian block. And this extension is a response to the block's westwards movement, which is compressing its eastern part. So this extension and the resulting thinning of the Earth's crust that is happening there, yes, that allows magma an easier way to the surface because it's very, very thin there. So it can rise along the tectonic fault zones. That's why we always see a lot of volcanoes along systems like this. And that has triggered volcanism in the region very far back. What is maybe concerning is, together with these quakes, when you look at the Eastern Anatolian Fault, and that's a dangerous one. That's what everyone's afraid of, and that's what has caused so much devastation and loss. There were also numerous weak earthquakes along the Eastern Anatolian Fault, if we look at a broader picture of Turkey and the Mediterranean region. So from a tectonic perspective, there's been a lot of activity in the Aegean region with tremors occurring, also higher tremors, magnitude 6+, primarily near Crete. We also had a small earthquake swarm in northern Italy, east of Genoa. Weaker tremors, but they even made it in the mainstream media because people were surprised. They were like, what is going on? So if you're planning your vacation there, be a little bit careful where you are. Have these seismic apps that you know if there's a bigger earthquake, get away from the coast, get to higher ground just in case. It's always possible, you never know where it's coming from. You have seen this at Santorini. We have the Colombo underwater volcano that can cause devastating tsunamis. And so can Santorini, which is a crater. It's a volcano. So, but also earthquakes alone can trigger this. They can also trigger underwater landslides that can trigger tsunamis. And it has happened in the past. It has always happened. So be a little bit aware and a little bit careful. That's what I would say. So I hope you liked this. If you did, leave it a like, share it, subscribe, guys. If you want to support the channel, check the links in the description. I have a Buy Me a Coffee site. If you buy me a coffee and leave me a message, I will answer with a 30-second video message. You can video me back. We can talk to each other. I really like that site, so that's why I'm promoting it here. Thank you for supporting the channel, everyone, for your supers, to my members, for the coffees. You guys are absolutely awesome. You're making this channel possible with your views, with your comments, with just being here. So thank you so much for that, guys. I hope I see you soon. Bye-bye.